Peace and love, family. Peace and love. It's your boy Chris Enlightened coming back again with some more spiritual vittles. And today I'm going in on low vibratory ancestors on your ancestor altar. Ooh, this is a good one, family. This is a good one. Low vibratory ancestors on your altar. Ooh, this is a good one, family. I've been getting a lot of emails, messages, and even in some of my consultations, people have been asking me about, is it okay to put low vibratory ancestors on their ancestor altar? And pretty much what that means is, if you were living and you had some ancestors that was negative, into drugs, criminals, didn't treat you well, whatever, if you felt as if it was negative towards you or someone else, is it okay to put them on your altar? Me personally, I would say yes, but after 3 to 6 months, if you feel as if you need to take them off, take them off. What works for me works for me. And I believe that when you're a human, you have human emotions, human thoughts, and you're a slave to what you've been programmed with. So if you have had an ancestor that's been abused, mistreated, in a low vibratory environment, and they were brought up in that area, in that environment, in that culture, it's only natural, if they're not evolving spiritually, to be a slave to what they've been programmed with. Yes, they may be negative, but it's nothing more than a reflection of what they've been instilled. You know, what's been instilled within them. So yes, they may treat you negative. Yes, they may even be a negative person. But once you transition and go over to the other side, you have an overview of reality. You'll be able to be in tune with your past lives, and in some cases, even your future lives. And you'll have an overview of reality, and you may not be the same. Now, in some cases, some of your ancestors, there will be a continuation of consciousness, and they still may be stubborn, and they still may hold on to those things that they had in this earthly reality that coerced them to be negative. And for those ancestors, by you praying to them, giving them love and light, giving them offerings of money and food, you may have a chance to change them. You may be able to reconstruct their negative karma and make them reflect on who they were and help them evolve. That's the beauty of having an ancestor altar. You don't have to rely on your ancestor to uplift themselves. You can help uplift your ancestors. Simply saying divine prayers like the Anabakoa, the Isnisa Vajaya Dharani, the Body of Light, the Natsunori Goto. All these mantras that you can say, and you can offer them to your ancestors to help them raise themselves up out of whatever lower place they're in. Sometimes when your ancestors transition, if they've been ingrained in certain religions, and if they feel as if they've been a bad person, they would create a reality that makes them suffer because they believe they deserve to suffer. Just like people in the earthly reality, when they're all negative, they may be negative to you because they feel as if they can't be positive to you, because that's what was instilled in them. So when you find yourself in a negative place, sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need help. And that's what we're here for, to help our ancestors. You know, your ancestors are able to make moves and do things for you that you can't do in the earthly realm. They're able to get you jobs, save you from trauma, all types of things that they could make move on a spiritual level before you even know about it. That's the beauty of your ancestors when you're working with them and they'll work with you. Sometimes, if you're not being positive, you're not taking in or using enough light, you'll create a reality where negativity finds you. If you're always smoking, drinking, and cussing, if you were always watching negative things on TV and listening to negative music, you're creating a bridge for more negativity to find you. It's not your ancestors doing it. It's you. It's you. But if you're taking in light, you're surrendering to your will to do negative things and saying, you know what, I'm not going to drink, smoke, and curse. I'm going to focus on learning these divine prayers. I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to take in more sunlight. When you do things like that, your ancestors are more prone to help you. They're more prone to help you. Sometimes you may be rocking with your ancestors and you're slipping in your spiritual practices. They may do things that you may seem to be negative just to get your attention, to let you know, hey, wake up. You're slacking here. Get back on the ball. It's like a spiritual whipping. You know what I mean, family? So me personally, I'll just tell you from my own experience. My father did nothing for me while he was living. No birthdays, no Christmases, no money, nothing. Nothing. He did pay child support, but that was it. I mean, I would go years, 10, 12 years without even hearing from him. So he did nothing for me in my wake while he was living. But now that he's transitioned, I still put him on my altar because he's my father. I wanted him to grow spiritually directly through my actions. After I did that, I started having dreams about him. I started dreaming of him. He would start smiling, hugging me, telling me he loved me in my dreams. All this stuff never occurred in my waking while he was living. But after he transitioned and I put him on my altar, things like that started happening. While he was living, I never had a dream about him. I wasn't even really thinking about him like that. We were not good friends. But after he transitioned, after I said a bunch of divine prayers, burned ancestor money, gave him food offerings, I think he's seen the light. So those are things that you can do to help your ancestors that may be negative, that you feel as if you should or you shouldn't put on your ancestor altar. Again, there are no rules. You do as you feel, as you see fit. If you had an ancestor that you just didn't rock with, you couldn't stand, you don't have to put them on your altar. But I would implore you to put them on your altar just to see how the energy is. See if you have dreams. Usually, whether someone's living or they've transitioned, if they treated you bad and you have a dream about them and they're smiling, they're thanking you and things like that, that lets you know that on a subconscious level, they've even forgiven you or they're asking for your permission to be forgiven. So if you have an ancestor that wasn't your friend, that you didn't rock with, that didn't like you, that was a low vibratory ancestor, and you put them on your altar, and you see them coming to you in a dream within 3 months, smiling, laughing, hugging you, kicking it with you, you know you've done your job. If not, you feel as if there's no connection still, by all means, take them off your altar. It's just as simple as that, family. So on that note, it's your boy Chris Enlightened. I'm always winning, and I hope you are too. And on that note, peace and love. Winning!